is the newest video of the mini-series which deals with the possibilities we as kids get through our parents in the optimal case and in the actual case, in this instance, in my case. Okay, what did I kind of organize as the four defining points? I discussed it a little in a little more detail in the last video, so if you missed this one, check it out again. But basically, these 4 points were: first, what did my parents give me for my life through their genes? The secondly, what did they give me in terms of a home, feeling at home? The third, what did my parents give me directly in terms of upbringing and providing me with the necessary ideas and actions and structures and procedures with which I can master my life. And the fourth one is socialization, which means how did they help me to get involved with the wider society, with friends, with other family members, with acquaintances, and with institutions, members of institutions like schools and other things. Okay, so looking now at my own life, regarding point one, what did I inherit from my parents in terms of good genes? I can say I was lucky. I have good genes. I know it now because now after 60 years on this earth, I can say I have no diseases. I had no defects whatsoever, and the only thing which I didn't really like was my looks, but in the meantime I accepted it. I'm looking okay, I think, and even my jumbo ears were gone, although I remain to have a weakness for longer hair, as you can see. Okay. Anything else regarding gene pool, coming from a good gene pool, I can be lucky because just to look at the ages, my parents made it nearly to 100 years, my grandparents to over 100 years partly. So I have the chance to also get older, healthy, and mentally okay. The second point, functioning home, I checked it through and put a red dot to where I thought I had deficit and a green dot where I think everything went well. So I have from all the points like security, feeling, care and attention, continuity, structured life, peacefulness, absence of violence, and so on. Everything was excellent in my home. I had no qualms at all, and I'm sure it helped me a lot in my later life. Okay, what were our red points? Okay, yeah, two points. The feeling of love and belonging, I said it was okay. I felt at the time that I was loved, but the kind of love, the type of love my parents could give me was not the type of love I wanted. And they didn't change it, so I kind of kept a distance, a certain distance to my parents because of that. Maybe due to their own lives, of course. My father had lived through 2 world wars and my mother through 1. They had lost everything they had and they were quite well off before that. So I can understand that they were a little pissed off at their fate. But nevertheless, they could have been a little more loving, a little more warm to me. I say that because I saw that later on in other families and with other people I met who gave much more warm and intense love and affection to their kids. Okay, I could live with it. What it did probably was that I, after a while, developed the feeling that, okay, when I'm old enough, I'm leaving here because I want to do my own thing, and family is not number one on my number one issue for me. Okay, what did my parents specifically to prepare me for a successful and good life? Again, I have lots of green points, like upbringing and nurturing was excellent. I learned how to behave. I learned to be well groomed, to be well dressed, to being friendly to others, to be helpful to others. Friendliness as a sign of intelligence, I mentioned that before, was a big point. So I grew up to be quite a friendly, to a certain extent charming person, because I learned how to do things and how to approach others and how to be with others. Another thing, like communication, my mother was very, very keen on using good language, being clear and concise, and so I learned to speak clearly, and I learned to take care of the fact that others have to understand me. Not I have to understand me, but when I say something, others have to understand me, and I have to do it in such a way that they are willing to take it. Also, I learned to listen. Yes, was not always nice at home because my father was strict on that, but I learned to listen, which provided me in the future with some very positive and very, very good advantages that others didn't have. What I didn't learn, and that's read here, my parents didn't teach me task management, like learning to define goals, making plans, schedules, implement actions, finishing and completing things, critically reviewing things. That was not on their agenda. They kind of were happy to prepare me for I say middle to upper class normal life, and this was not on their list really of priorities. This next thing was problem solving. Problem solving, which I learned later the hard way. I could have needed at that time. I didn't. So I learned mainly by trial and mistake. I mean, there are other ways of dealing with problems, of course, but I wouldn't judge it too critically. What my parents omitted there. To learn to make decisions, again, I would say it's so-so, because they didn't actually tell me or teach me about the process and the techniques of deciding what's good and bad and what to do and how to make decisions. They rather allowed me to fight against them, because they were quite restrictive. I didn't get so many things from them without asking, without trying hard. So I learned it, but I think I could have done better if they would have prepared me. Like also dealing with money was not an issue, and therefore money was never important really for me, because we had enough money, not too much, but we had, we were okay and affluent in a way, certainly in our community. But money, and that I had to learn later, is important if you don't have it, right? And my father always said, money, I can only have one house, I can only have one boat, one car, so why should I have two or three? And so I adopted that view. Money never was and still is not really important for me. Except, as I said before, when I don't have it, then I feel it. And then I hate that I don't have it. But in my life I had so much good times and made so much money that I know and learned how to deal with that by myself. Now, the fourth and last point, social integration, was again excellent. I have no qualms about this point. My parents gave me everything. Like I was involved in the family. Family came over. We had lots of friends, lots of acquaintances. The only thing maybe was that my mother was very keen on checking from which social strata my friends came, and if they were from a lower one, apparently she didn't like it. That was also a point why I had troubles with my mother, because she was very image orientated, and I didn't like that. I thought it's bigot. It's not open and truthful. She was always smiling and pretending that everything is fine to the outside, regardless what was on the inside. My father was cool in that respect, and therefore I rather went after my father, and he was my role model much more than my mother. So, since my mother was always at home and had really power over us, because my father was often away due to his business, I was happy when I was of legal age, because the first and foremost thing I wanted was get away from home. Although it was so good and to others excellent, I wanted to get away from home and live my own life, which, in fact, I did.